Hello everyone, my name is Chris, and in today's video I decided to give myself a very difficult challenge and learn Echo in just 20 hours. Well, let's get started. We start our challenge on Numbani, and I am very excited to play the character. I always loved the concept of flying characters and looking at one of the best flying character players in the game, Yazan, and how he was able to get a consistent #1 spot on Asian, European and American leaderboards with just playing Pharah and Echo. I was shocked and flabbergasted. I wanted to recreate the success and maybe get into a Grandmaster. Oh boy, was I absolutely wrong. It's like you have very interesting thoughts about how life should be, and then you just get slapped in the face. And this is called a reality check. And this is exactly what I got from playing Echo. The character is exceptionally difficult. I feel like 99% of the player base of Overwatch will never be able to learn Echo, no matter how hard they will try. And I'm not even exaggerating. Character is challenging, character requires a lot of understanding of in-depth game sense. Character requires a lot of skill, aim, reaction time. And it is just not for everyone. I feel like if you are an average dude who just wants to relax playing Overwatch and don't wanna spend all your mental resource onto playing a character, I feel like characters like Reaper, which I'm gonna do next, are gonna be so much better. And honestly, after doing Sojourn and then doing Echo, I feel exhausted. I feel like I am tired of playing hard characters, so I wanna give myself a bit of break. Going for hour 2 Junkertown, and I feel a little bit better about my mechanical part of the Echo. I feel like I can do much more. I feel like I was able to get a lot more right clicks going on. I feel like I was able to be a little bit more accurate with my left clicks, and this is pretty much the basis of the character. My ultimate usage is still horrendous, and I am still learning how to fly properly, even though I've already spent 10 hours before that, about a month ago. I still feel like I am not even close to reaching my full potential. A few nice kills here and there. Going for attack, I was able to catch this Echo lacking, and then copying Arisa, we were able to break the line of sight from the enemy Ana, so she would not be able to heal her. And as a result, it was pretty clean, pretty nice full hold for us. And the first point was everything they could go for. Nice kill onto the Tracer. I saw that from Yazan with a punch. Mwah. Beauty. Absolute beauty. I feel like character gives you a very nice sense of reality check. Every single time you would play a game such as Dark Souls series or Elden Ring, you would end up find yourself in a situation where you just cannot defeat this boss and you are trying for the 40th time and nothing is working. This is exactly how I felt playing Echo. It was painful. It was horrible. I felt like an absolute failure. I did not want to play the game. I constantly wanted to swap the character. My crybaby inside of me was screaming louder than it ever was screaming before. I felt that I am not worthy of being in lobbies. I was. By the time of recording my hour 3, I was about Diamond 1 level games, but sometimes I would get into Masters, sometimes I would get games against Smurfs, and these people are really showing who is the boss of the gym here. My ultimate usage is still horrendous. I am not saying anything in the microphone because I just don't have the brain capacity to do so. Every single brain cell is focused on trying to get correct mechanical part of the character, so I don't have the time, I don't have the energy to have fun, I don't have the time and the energy to enjoy the process. I am actively learning, I am suffering, I am struggling, yet highlights of Hour 3 were absolutely quite amazing. Busan is one of the best flying character mobs, I feel like. And Yizan said the same, so I absolutely agree with him on that regard. I was cooking quite tremendously on this particular hour, but you can still say that it's just a small skill issue from my opponents. We finish up this and go for the next hour. I feel like with the current mid-season 5 patch, you can play Echo on almost every single map. The exception would be maps like Havana, maps like Circuit Royale, where you don't have much of the vertical cover and you are just left alone, crying. You cannot flank, you cannot be a person that's poking with the Mercy Pocket, so I would rather play Sojourn on maps like this. But there is a map with, but when there is a map with a verticality, when there is a map with quite a lot of cover, you would want to use Echo as one of your options. I feel like if I were to have the chance to swap the character when I feel like Echo is just not good for a certain situation, I would have so much more success overall. It would be insane and crazy. But sticking to the principles of the challenge, I decided to just OTP Echo and see what's gonna happen, and guess what? Guess what? Nothing good happened out of that. My win rate was below 50%. I felt discouraged. I did not care about my rank. It's not what I'm getting paid for. It's not what I feel like necessary for my personal ego, but still, like, it feels like on certain characters where I have like 70% win rate, and on some I have 35, something is utterly wrong, either with my like perception of the world or just the character is awful. Here I was able to copy the Torbjorn, and with recent changes you are just clapping with that right click left and right. Man, game is rough, and every single time I would load up a game, I am just preparing myself for being bullied. I prepare myself for being bullied, not only by my opponents, but my teammates if you are not performing well on Echo, which is pretty hard to do if you are a newer player, if you are not exactly good at her. Yeah, that can be a serious problem. Here I was able to cook quite tremendously. Like, it was actually insane, and feels like every single time the games were close and I was the final deciding factor whether I will be able to win or lose it. Hour 5 game. I remember this King's Row map like it was yesterday, because it was yesterday. I was humiliated, I was humbled, I was that dude who thought he is really good at the game, but then just get absolutely destroyed in the process. My ego was shattered and my dreams, hopes and aspirations was flushed into the toilet of the almighty Overwatch. Playing King's Row is a serious challenge when it comes to flying characters, simply because you don't have much vertical cover, and the fact that map is really narrow allows for really interesting plays and options from opponents. They can take certain characters that make your life absolutely miserable. Yet, I was doing something. By the way, what hour is this? This is hour 5. And I've played so many games. I feel like I would get a feeling of carrying my team once in 3 maps, but other 2 maps I would play, I would just be a low tap DPS, which is not the sign of like zero value, or not the sign of me being useless. That's certainly not what I am accustomed to, especially after doing challenges on Ashe, where I'm like literally have more DPS than both of my tank and second DPS together. And here I am playing Echo and playing like this silent assassin role, which is, it's just horrendous. I wanna cry. And like you can look at our highlights. If we have 4 minutes and 2 points on the clock, it's easy W for us. If only I were to swap the character. But I stayed Echo, and guess what? We lost the game. It feels like we absolutely lost this game. I still have no idea how to use my copy properly. I still have no idea how to like flank in the correct manner. Our 5, I was just like, oh, let's just throw a right click and then like pew 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 left click. Maybe I'm gonna be useful, maybe not. Who knows? Here was a beautiful moment where I feel like I just solo carried this particular team fight. I'm like, yo, let's nano queen. And we were going at it. I was able to catch 3 players with anti, and we got it. Nice. Route 66. It feels like I am in a consistent episode 25 of Berserk. If you have watched this magnificent anime, you would get the idea of what I'm talking about. Here, Winston is suffering quite tremendously. Here is Winston suffering quite tremendously yet again. And I am going and continuing the domination here, going for the supports. And I love Echo when you are having the position of power, when you have the upper hand, when you are catching an arrow to the face. Yes. The game felt exceptionally hard and difficult. I cannot stress enough how difficult master lobbies are playing Echo. Everything is hectic. Everyone is trying their absolute hardest to carry the game. It's not like I'm playing Platz and people have no idea how to even counter Echo. Everyone is pretty good at the hit scan. They are all packed with thousands of hours of Overwatch experience, low level but experience regardless. Yeah, this was certainly a moment for me when I was like, why do I even finish up this challenge? Do I even continue the torture and suffering and pain that I feel on a daily basis for many hours a day? And I continued. I realized that you can acquire certain specific play styles according to the team comp that you have and the enemy team comp. I feel like I can be an assassin. I feel like I can be a person that can go in and just poke like front to back. I feel like I can be just a useless piece of character that can like do nothing, which I absolutely was for the majority of my games. Jesus Christ, like, yes, some clips are great. Some clips are the clips where I was cooking quite tremendously, like here, boom, the stickies dropped onto the floor after the Zarya bubble disappeared and I was able to get Ana. And here was a great moment where I killed 2 players with stickies at once, like boom. Do you think I feel happy about that? We still lost the game. I still feel like a failure. I still don't feel worthy. Lijiang Tower, and when you are playing this closed part of the map, I feel like you really don't want to play Echo, and this is an exactly great example of what I mean by that. I decided to go for Sojourn for this specific part, and I just absolutely clapped the enemy Echo. That could be me. That could absolutely be me. Oh my god, this is just insane. Here I am going for an insane domination on the Sojourn. We were able to cap the first point with ease. I'm like, oh, looking at the ground, not realizing I don't have my E active, re-engaging onto the soldier just to kill him. Sojourn is just a superior character in closed maps. It's just a way better character on Circuit Royale, way better character on Havana, and maps like Colossio. So here, finally, we are on the open part of the map. Echo is pretty good here, and I've seen so many players. Yizan specifically really likes this part of the map because it's amazing. World Cup as well, Yizan was absolutely cooking on Pharah, but I feel like for me personally, I find Echo a lot more fun and a lot more exciting to play just because of the ultimate nature of the character, just because it is just amazing. Do I feel like I have improved from hour 1? Yeah, of course. I absolutely forgot how to play the character after my first 10 hours, I've learned something new, I've improved overall, so the quality of lobbies were kinda higher than they were before a month ago. Going for like or recording a YouTube diary is a great way for you to really track your progress, because sometimes our psyche is playing games with us. It's like, oh, I'm just not progressing. In reality, you are. Just never realized it. Dorada is another great map choice for Echo because of the high verticality and access to the high grounds. Oh my god. We were able to blow up 2 players with stickies right here. I was going for the Mercy here. We cut the Mercy as a result. Baptiste has nowhere to run. We get him right here, and this was a complete disaster for my enemies. I don't even understand how and what they could have done better in order to finish up this game, but it was so fast. It was like 6 minutes maximum. We just full held them first point. They were never able to go past the first corner, simply because I was standing on one high ground, and then we would have a player on another high ground, and then we are working as a team together. My Sigma player was absolutely amazing. Here is one and only clip for the attack. We are getting the kill, and that's it. Simple as that. Hour 9, and I get a Colossio game with the Fran. He's doing a new challenge, unranked to top 500 on Winston. And unfortunately enough, he is on my team. And the amount of times I got destroyed by this Reaper is uncountable. The scenario is pretty simple. You would feed him ultimate charge, and he just goes in and claps the whole team. As simple as that. In short, what happened on this map. I was trying my absolute hardest, I was coming where necessary, I was flanking, yet sometimes it feels like the map is horrible, sometimes I feel like I was just not good enough on Echo, but I failed. I failed miserably. Both my tank, my second DPS had the same damage, but that's not a sign of failure or success. That is not. I still feel like we all kinda part of the problem and not part of the solution, and this is exactly the reason why we lost. I should have swapped to Sojourn, I should have swapped to Soldier, and maybe the results would be quite different. But looking at position that I was in retrospective, I would say, I was bound to lose this game regardless. It feels like we had Lifeweaver, we had Winston, like zero synergy. They had Reaper, Brig, Ramatra. Impossible to play. Absolutely impossible to play. They just had a better team comp. They just had a better scenario for that specific match. Yet it was kind of fun to play. The Fran only said some strange words like, oh guys, how do I have the same damage as you? And this was exactly only his words. So here I'm like landing all my stickies, landing all my left clicks, yet I have 0 damage on the team. There is nothing I can do. I fail my flight. I copy Brig instead of copying Robatra. This is a complete disaster. You guys wanted me to say, oh, I learned Echo in 10 hours. I learned Echo in 20 hours. Guess what? The cruel reality gets there. The cruel reality stands in my way of being a great character. Why am I not GM after 400 hours? Why am I still in Masters, barely scraping the surface of that rank? Skill issue. Absolute skill issue from my side. Looking back at the whole experience, do I want to repeat it? Not today. Not tomorrow, and not in a week. It feels like it would take about a month to really recover from the psychological damage that I received from playing Echo. It feels like it's gonna take me a few months to really recover from my absolute ego shatter. There is nothing better to just play Reaper for a straight month and have fun. Just have fun in the game. I felt that I was trying to pick up chess when I have 20 IQ. This is exactly how I felt playing Echo. The character is exceptionally difficult. The character is absolutely not for everyone. I still feel like 2, 3, 5% of the player base can play the character maximum. And that's just the sad reality of the situation. Character is not overpowered yet. If you are good enough, you can make him so. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this video will discourage you from playing Echo. See you in the next one. Take care.